I've been wanting to make a video on the process of mastering an artwork for a long time, and it's the perfect example to do it with my new artwork that I am calling the Flower of Babel. And this is it, its skeleton before I started coloring it. I'm almost just basically done, and that's the part of the process that I'm going to talk about today. And so this is kind of like an art video, and I'll do another video that will go deeper into the meaning of this, but it's basically my rendition of the Tower of Babel, going all the way up through the firmament beyond the waters, and so much more, with a flower blooming at the top, a lotus. It's very symbolic of Jainism too, of stupa, which I'm going to read about later in another video, and there's just a lot of my own kind of subconscious symbolism and much more, and I'll show it to you in color, and I'm going to show you me drawing on it in what I consider my favorite time of being art. It's like the happiest time. Some parts can be kind of intense when you're trying to think of all the ideas at different parts, if you get stumped for a little bit and you need life to just give you the answer, or if you there's so many different kind of troubles that you run into doing the artwork, but it's always worth it, and it's always worth it to creatively plow through any kind of blockage that you might have. There's always a way beyond it. So this is my favorite part of the drawing process, and it is when all the stuff is done, all the content for the most part is done. I'll probably add some stuff definitely in little spots, but so much of the thinking is done, so much of the prepping, the mental work is done, the vision is there, and now you just go around and just continue to tweak it. If it were real, it obviously isn't real, and it's not like a realistic drawing like a lot of oil paintings and stuff like that in some way, but it's, everything is capable with ink. Every photo is just dots, and so when you go by and you hone every single spot that you can see that's slightly out of whack, if a line has like a little speck, a micron of a dot out of whack, fill it in. Some parts are a little less bold than others. You didn't fill it, get the little color in the corner so you don't leave a little bit of white. You leave as no white as possible, and and the whole point of this process, it can take weeks, it can take days, but you pretty much know you're at the end, and it's really all up to you when you decide to make it stop. And it is almost, I always refer to it as like acupuncture, especially with spirals, and this one as well, with different shapes and things that get really tight. It's kind of like an MC Escher, if you've ever seen his artwork in person. It almost takes on another dimension, way beyond 2D, but it is still a 2D drawing. And so as you start to get these little tweaks, and this is a 0.003 micron, so I forget how small it is exactly, but the micron 0.003, and it's so fragile, just like a needle pin. And getting every little spot you can, going around. Sometimes you'll see me go into different colors, but it's mostly just kind of, just mix of both, but whatever it calls for, whatever the thing calls for, get really close. You can use a magnifying glass if you have to, but it will be so worth it. Make everything uniform. Go over it like comb it, like they say in Spaceballs, comb the desert, but you comb the drawing. Make it as precise as you possibly can, and it ends up coming alive. You end up, every single time you kind of hit a spot, you'll find different little tiny spots that you may have missed, or big spots that you may have missed, and it will help prevent you from finding it later and regretting it after you scan it or take a picture of it, a formal one, and get prints made or something. You want to just take this time and really relax. Don't rush it. Let it kind of go. Let it flow. It's like with music, creating a song. Sometimes in my band, we would kind of argue whether a song was done or not at a certain point. And it would always kind of just have a feeling in the end. And I used to argue for longer songs. Other people would argue for smaller songs. But it always evened out. It was always perfect. Whatever it ended up becoming was it. And the more work you put into it, the more time you put into it in those parts, the better. And this part is so fun. And similar to music, where they have the mastering, you get everything recorded, then you send it to someone who masters it, gets all the levels, all the volume, everything just right where you need it to be to get ready to hit the streets and the airways. See there, I just added a tiny bit of orange on the tip of a star that had a little bit of white. It's all about finding that white, because once that white is gone, all those specks of unnecessary white are gone. The drawing comes alive. It's unbelievable. It is an amazing thing. It's almost like an illusion, and you can take it so deeper. It's almost like a drawing's never totally done, because it'll kind of lighten up with the sun and over time, or just lighten up, not really too much with good archival inks like these, but you still will get stuff. that will change over time, and then just to continue getting it ready for the scan, getting it ready for the printing process. You want everything to be perfect, and this part is so good. You can just put on a movie, put on music, go around, go everywhere. There's no pressure. It's just going over, honing it, hitting every single point. You will not regret it, and it will take your art to the next level. And this process might be different for different people at different stages in the art path, but get used to it. It's awesome. And really get it. You'll notice so much more every time you do it with every drawing, more parts that you never would have noticed before, things that maybe you didn't see and you didn't think to correct, or you didn't think to kind of fill in or connect or whatever. See, step back, look at it from all different angles, get really close. It gets to a point where, now at this point, I was going really frequently and kind of fixing in a lot of stuff. Now I'll have different points where I can go 10 minutes just to look for a spot that needs something, and then after that it's 15 minutes. Pretty soon I'm just kind of like sitting there over the drawing, like hovering over it. I don't see much. I start to realize that it's ready, and then I scan it the next day or the next couple days later, sign it somewhere a couple times, one for obvious and one less obvious, then make it ready for the world. And I hope you all like it. This one's very close to done. I still added another week or two of touch-ups like this randomly at night, so every night, and into the morning, and it's worth it. It really, really is. It will make you'll just be so happy that all your work is done, and it's just getting better and better with every step. And when you see it pop out, it really is like forming a being, forming a life form. The connection is made, the visual part sets in. If you get the shadow just right, stuff starts to pop out, other stuff sinks in. You can look at it all different ways. It's so good. Continue it. I bless you all in your creative process, and this mastering, include this into your practice, in your creative path. You will definitely love it. Bless you all. Thank you. And I'll show you more of this artwork when it's done, and I'll have the official scan and show it all, and it'll be great. Have a great day.